Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining. Uh, Today, we're going to go over a webinar on how to streamline your bid qualification process. Now, did you know that organizations spend on average a week evaluating a complex government bid? Today, I'll show you how we can transform that week-long process into around 20 minutes. We'll cover how to rapidly analyze requirements, auto-populate responses, and also make informed tender decisions with confidence. Now, that's me. Hi, my name's Angus. I'm an account executive here at AutogenAI. My background is mathematics and business development in tech. And I'm super passionate about generative AI and its application to business, specifically around actually realizing those productivity promises we've all heard so much about. Now, this webinar today actually is quite close to my heart. I once spent 6 whole weeks building out a tender, only to find at the last minute that I'd missed a key qualification criteria, and all that work was for nothing. But I don't want that to happen to you. So let's get to it. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with AutogenAI, we build language engines using large language models to help organizations write more winning tenders, bids, and proposals. Whether it's a sophisticated text transformation like a tone of voice transformation, or extracting information, reviewing work, and so much more, there's something for every bid writer here at AutogenAI. So by the end of this webinar, you'll learn how to make a bid, no bid decision within seconds, rapidly pinpoint core requirements of any tender, streamline tedious questionnaires filling with AI, review your work against an evaluation criteria, decrease redundant work and analysis to save time and costs, and speed up your overall qualification and bid application process by 2.5 times. Now, we've done lots of research in this space. We found that, as I was saying, 1 week of evaluation time to fully determine whether a bid is suitable, 2 days to 4 weeks to respond to pre-qualification questions, depending on the length and depth of the questionnaire, and around 100 hours time spent preparing for a large and complex government tender. Now, that seems like a lot of time, and that's where AutogenAI is going to come into the picture and really support you to rapidly decrease or significantly decrease those times and those hours. So let's say we've identified an opportunity. And what we might want to do, and the process that we go through as bid writers, is we're going to read that documents. That could be 10,000 words, 20,000 words, 100,000 words. Could be such a significant document it takes a whole week to fully digest, right? And once we've got some good context, we're going to want to go into that, and where potentially we'll start maybe with a qualification criteria, identifying things that we can add into our qualification criteria all the time, searching for those red flags that might pop up, which means it's an absolute no-go. We may want to do a simple summary, right, of that huge document. That can take days to give our team context. Also, we might want to start delivering or developing some kind of risk management frameworks. So we make sure that we're actually considered for the bid. Now, we can do all of those things rapidly with AutogenAI. Now, what we want to do is rapidly pinpoint those core requirements of any tender. And based off all of those things I've spoken about, we want to do that rapidly. And we want to be able to scale that across any bid, any tender, any opportunity that you identify. And this is where I'm going to stop talking at a presentation. I'm going to get into the software, and I'm going to let the software do the talking, because it is truly powerful. So, as I was saying, you want to extract information from these tenders. Now, what I've done here is I've found an opportunity, or I've identified an opportunity, and I've uploaded that to our software. And what I would generally start doing, if I didn't have AutogenAI, I'd read through that and I'd do some keyword searches. But what we're going to do is we're going to allow that software to do that for us. So we've got quite a few different extractions we can make. I'm going to bring up the help button just to go through what some of those are, and to talk through what we're going to be doing here today. So I'm going to look at the critical bid decision information, and this is really the guts of how you're going to start that qualification checklist, to make sure that you can go for the bid, that everything is there, that you might want to fill out a template to support the team so they all have a good understanding. This is where that all starts. We're also going to want to potentially go one step lower, which is pulling out I guess, the undertones and the pieces of information that we're going to start leveraging to building out a win strategy or some win themes, and a way to get a really good and solid understanding of what the funding body or the procurement team are looking to buy, so we can weave that all the way back through the tender. And then obviously we can look at compliance and what compliance leads into. It could be insurance, it could be governance, joint ventures, it could be regarding capacity or capability. So do we have can we deliver upon this bid? Do we have the resources to deliver on this bid? Obviously, dates and timelines are going to be important. Finally, we can look at a summary, and then we'll do a shred as well. So when I come off here, we'll do a critical bid decision, a commission's priorities. I'll run a 2-page summary and a default shred, and then I'll talk through what each of those are. So let me jump into the history here. Let's get started with the extract bid decision information. So I can pull that up. Now, these are from all of the experience that we have as an organization, with many bid writers and my colleagues bid writers, we've come up with a way to pull out all of that important information and get rid of all the fluff. And what you're going to be able to do is run this extraction instantly within seconds, and then start putting information into your qualification criteria and all of these great things: capacity, capability, reporting requirements, any additional documentation that's required. We're going to go feedback and declarations, and then any eligible activity. So it gives us a really good core understanding of what the bid is all about. Now, if we look into the extract commission's priorities, this is going to take those undertones out for us, and any of those really important pieces of information that we're going to want to leverage, as I was saying, to start to develop those unique value propositions for the organization. I'm going to leverage those as well using the software. Now, finally, we'll have a look at a 2-page summary. As you guessed, it is a summary. But what we see a lot of our clients doing with this is identifying the opportunity, doing a quick red flag check using the software, and then appending this summary into a meeting request, right? So if we ask people to read 20,000 words or 50,000 words, it could take them a long time. They're busy. They may not get around to it before the meeting. Then what we can do with everybody's got time to read 1,000 words, a cup of coffee, on the way to work, things like that. And we can make sure that people coming into that next stage of the qualification, that sort of that kickoff meeting or that yes/no decision meeting, everybody's coming in with a good context of the information. They can come with good ideas and, more importantly, good questions. So we can move through that. Now, if I come off here, I'm going to show you what a shred looks like as well. I've done that and I popped it into my browser so we can see it quite quickly. Now, what the shred has done is pulled out of all the wills, musts, shoulds, and haves, and it's the draft or the beginning of that risk matrix. So before we submit the bid, it's going to make sure that we are actually considered for that bid. We are making sure that we're not dropping the ball on anything that we need to submit, or any key piece of information that's required to be considered. And then when we win the bid, we're going to want to have a very good understanding of what we promised to deliver upon. And this is where this all starts. So let me jump back into the software. So where are we at in this pre-qualification process, right? Where we've identified an opportunity, we've run a red flag check, we've filled out a qualification checklist, and it all looks good to go from here. So we've made that decision, let's go for that bid. But what we're going to find is many bids are going to come with what's called pre-qualification questions. And what they look like are all of those questions that seem to pop up all the time. You may refer to them as boilerplate material. They're those questions that are in every bid, every grant application, every proposal that you write. It could be a summary of the organization. It could be a reconciliation action plan. It could be something to do with Indigenous procurement policy. All of these things, they pop up time and time again. Now, how we usually, or where we would have dealt with those in the past, is we go into our emails, or we consult SMEs, we look at in the statements, and what we're trying to find out is we want up-to-date information on some of these. And while it's boilerplate material, these ideas change over time. So what we really need to identify here is a single source of truth. We need to be able to leverage these boilerplate answers that are pre-approved very quickly to inform our bid responses in this pre-qualification environment. So I'm going to come back to the software now. And what that starts as is the answer bank. So this is obviously we like to drink our own champagne here at AutogenAI, and we leverage the answer bank and this pre-qualification idea for responding to security questionnaires, right? So we have around 150 clients, so you can imagine how many security reviews we've done, and a lot of the questions are the same, a lot of the questions are similar, and there are some questions that we've never answered before. But with those questions we've never answered before, where there's a high likelihood that we've got some textual information or some similar information that we've responded in a bid, or it could be in a capability statement or in one of our ISO certifications, and we're going to want to leverage that as well. So this answer bank, generally speaking, is someone holds the keys to this, and as ideas or information changes over time, they update this so everybody knows their single source of truth and they can leverage that moving forward. Now, the answer bank coincides with the workbook area. Just here. Now, in this workbook area, this is where we're going to take all those pre-qualification questions and we're going to upload these in there. So import questions, and I've done this already. I'm going to add those to my workbook. I'll do that really quickly. I'm going to add that in. So all of those questions, they're there. And so what I could do, or traditionally what I may have done, I'd go into my answer bank, my single source of truth, and I'd start filling these out. What we can do here, and when I first saw this, I did truly believe that it was magical. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to autofill my answers, and that sparkly thing tells us that's where the magic is. So autofill my answers. Software's doing sort of three things right now. One is it's looking in the answer bank for direct matches, exact question matches, and it's just going to line those answers up on the first cut, and that's putting them there. You can see that in the high confidence. And the second cut's done already. And what that is, it's a similar question. It's quite similar, but it's not quite the same. And what the software is going to do there, it's going to pull the answer from the answer bank and then potentially add some context around specifically how the question is asked. And then we're going to go into a low confidence answer. Now, a low confidence answer is the question, we haven't been asked that specific question. There's no real semantic match, but we do have some contextual information in our library. So what the software will do is answer that information for us and give us a low confidence response. Now, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to just quickly go through the definition of confidence in this environment. So high, it's a direct match. Minimal review needed, and it's ready straight for approval. Now, medium is a strong semantic match. The answer is rewritten for context, and obviously a review is always recommended. We go down to low. We've got limited matches found, and it's generated from library AI, and a full review is required in this space. But if you think about it, sometimes a 500-word questionnaire for us could take 3 weeks, it could take 4 weeks. And what if 250 of those answers are done? And what if another further 100 are done through and they're medium? So minimal work required to get them up to spec. And then we're 50, 60, potentially even 70% finished on the rest of those. And we've just taken a month and 2 or 3 people working on that. And we pulled that all the way back, right, to working on this within minutes. So let's get back into the Q&A workbook now that we've got an idea of what those confidence levels mean. And what's important here is we want to make sure, we want to check where this information has come from. So we're going to check sources and Autogen library, Autogen deployment options. That's looking quite good. Is AutogenAI a SaaS product? Can the software be delivered on premise? Now, that's good, right? The deployment options, that's a deployment option. It's coming from a deployment options piece of content in our library. So fantastic. And here is where I guess the bonus comes in that I'm going to show you. I wouldn't just leave you guys with a low confidence answer. I want to pull this into my editor and I want to bring this up to spec. And I'm going to show you really quickly how we can do that. So if I go into this question within my editor, what you can see is the editor. For those of you who are not familiar with the editor, every single transformation that you've ever needed to make as a bid writer, there is a button for that, and it's up the top. There's a workflow or a feature that's designed to dramatically increase the speed at which you can get off the blank page and make mega transformations of any piece of language, whether that's a tone of voice transformation or a word count. It's really, really, really good. So let me get into bringing this piece of writing up to spec. Now, if I look in the storyboarding part, what this is, the notes are review a low confidence answer from the question bank. I'm going to go into how we review our answers, and that's coming from the Gamma review. And look, we've got a predefined criteria. I'll go through what that means. So the predefined criteria is how we're going to review that piece of writing against what we know are sort of best practices in bid writing. We want to make sure that we're always putting approach and methodology. We're adding evidence, and that could be in the form of a case study or a statistic. We want to look at robustness. How strong is the answer? Maybe innovation. How innovative or unique is the proposed methodology or delivery that we're going to leverage here? And then ultimately spelling and grammar. But we're also, organizations are going to have their own internal review criteria that they're going to want to leverage. And that could be for all bids. It could be specifically for this bid. We may have pulled that using our extract tool, but it could also be on a question specific. So I'll have a look at this criteria and what that is. So I've got the question in here: is AutogenAI a SaaS product? Can the software be delivered on premise? And I've got some tender requirements. I've just written these in. Flexible platforming options, technology, and I've got some win themes in there as well. So I will save that out, and I'm going to review that. So what's really, really cool about this is the software is going to process the meaning on the left-hand side. It's going to go looking for opportunities to increase the quality. Now, what I like about this is it's not going to say this is wrong, you need to fix it. It's just identifying opportunities. And that's because with generative AI, we always want to make sure there's a human in the loop. Generative AI can read, write, review faster than we can, but we hold the keys to judgment. We're always going to have a better understanding as what constitutes a more compelling narrative or win theme, or where parts of our response need to have a quality increase. So first up, what we're going to look at, it's going to identify the sentence, and it's going to say, hey, you could look at this, or you could focus on that. And it's going to give you an idea. Look, if you don't like it, we can just delete that response. If you don't think it's going to help. Now, these are the bid specific criteria. Now we can have a look at the evidence one. Again, we've got the sentence here, and we have a sort of an outline or a theory as to why this could be increased, and then it's going to give you a specific example. Now, what we found with our clients using this, right, is you get to mark your own homework, right? And you get to mark your own homework using a tool that never gets tired. It's never Friday 5 p.m. or Sunday 9 p.m. It doesn't get stressed or overworked, and it doesn't experience cognitive load issues, which means that you can always remain objective. And what that means is your writing level will increase. Even just the process of reviewing against the criteria, you're going to start to see opportunities to increase the quality before you even review. So your underlying skills are going to improve. What that means for the writing, though, is it's increased in quality. Now, we move that along. This needs to be reviewed by someone. And a lot of our clients are reporting that this can halve the review time down at the next level up the chain. So when we take a step back and we look at that, bid writers they increase their skills. The review team reduces the amount of time it takes to review. Now, what that means, two things: better bids and a significant decrease in our bid operational expense, which everybody is obviously going to be very happy about. Now, I'm going to pop back to my slideshow now. Now, that really does bring us to the end of our qualification process webinar, 2 under 10 minutes with AutogenAI. Now, we've got some Q&A here, and I'll lean on Annie. I believe that she may have been. Let me see. Is there any sort of questions here that I can see? Let me just see if I can find. Good. I've got one in the chat. Let me open that up. Oh, that's if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please ask them in the webinar chat. I'll have a look in the Q&A. And we've got one question answered. I'll go through that. We are current AutoGen users and don't have the answer bank or workbook. This functionality will release to all our clients in the next couple of weeks. If you're keen to get started beforehand, please contact your customer success manager, Jess or Lawrence. Yes, so yeah, if you have any questions like that in terms of you've got the software and there's a piece of functionality that I haven't I've gone through that you don't yet have, yeah, just reach out to your account manager and we can sort that out. Were there any other questions that anybody wanted me to go through this afternoon on this webinar? And I'll have one last little check back into the Q&A, and if that's a wrap, I will close this down. But just know we'll have this webinar sent over to you, and you can review, you can share with your colleagues, and then drill down and get some more information out of there. Obviously, if you would like a demo that's bespoke and looking at your specific requirements, just reach out to AutogenAI.com. You can find a link to get a demo there, and that's great. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I look forward to, I guess, speaking or seeing you all soon. Thank you very much.